Top 5 Worst Serial Killers. Number 5, Jack the Ripper. The name Jack the Ripper has been heard in many shows and movies, pertaining to the serial killer who murdered 11 women in London. East End in the late 1800s, but was never identified. Most of his victims were prostitutes, whose bodies were mutilated beyond recognition and their throats slashed. In the East End's Whitechapel district, a string of prostitutes were butchered. The crime scenes were a gory tableau, the brutalized bodies were perversions of the human form. The killer was a collector who took organs as trophies. The signature of a letter that arrived during the murders gave this monster a name: Jack the Ripper. The city was whipped into a froth of suspicion and fear. Wide dragnets snagged scores of suspects. But the police were unable to catch the killer. Vigilante committees formed, and mobs routinely chased people through the streets. And then, suddenly, the murder stopped. Despite 3 more years of investigation, the police never uncovered the true identity of Jack the Ripper. The unsolved case was officially closed in 1892, though interest in the killings has never dwindled. Number 4. Ted Bundy. Robert Ted Bundy can be considered one of the famous U.S. serial killer. He had a way of gaining trust of his victims. He often got his victims in public places and got out without doubt. After raping his victims, he strangled them and threw the bodies near Taylor Mountain, where he would often visit them and lie with them or have sex with decomposing bodies. He raped and killed numerous young women between 1974–78. Although he confessed to 30 murders, police considered number being higher than that. The interesting fact about this case is that Ted was an intelligent young man. During this case he acted as his own attorney and cross-examined witnesses. When he was in prison, he gave his assistance to police for Green River case in order to understand the mind of serial killer. If he had not been on the other side, he would have done good work. He was executed on 24th of January, 1989 with last words, "I'd like you to give my love to my family and friends." Number 3. Richard Chase. Richard Chase's reason for all the killings was that Nazis were trying to turn his blood into powder by the poison they planted under his soap dish. To save himself from losing all his blood, he started killing people and drinking their blood. In 1 month he killed 6 people, including one 22-month-old kid. He indulged in sex with dead bodies and bathed with their blood. He even ate some of the internal organs of the kid and then threw him near a church. A witness saw him leaving the scene where he left perfect fingerprints. Eventually he was caught and sentenced to death in gas chambers. His inmates in the prison were afraid of him because of what he did and thus constantly urged him to suicide. On December 26, 1980, he was found dead in his cell by overdose of antidepressants that he had been saving from last few days. Number 2. Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer murdered at least 17 boys and men between 1978–91 after luring them into his apartment. He committed his first murder when he was 18. He was caught in 1991 when his intended victim managed to escape and tell a police patrol car that was passing nearby. Police found human heads in refrigerator and bodies in acid vats. He was charged of sodomy, necrophilia and cannibalism. The court found Dahmer guilty of 15 killings and sentenced him 15 life imprisonments. Though his imprisonment was cut short when another inmate, Christopher Scarver, beat him to death. Number 1. Andrei Chikatilo. Ukrainian serial killer Andrei Chikatilo was truly one of the most despicable and menacing men to ever have walked the earth. Born in 1933, he was nicknamed the Butcher of Rostov and the Red Ripper in description of the crimes he committed. He butchered 53 women and children from 1978 to 1990 when he was finally caught. He first lured a 9-year-old girl to the woods and tried to rape her. When she struggled, he slashed her throat. He achieved sexual gratification at the sight of the dying girl begging, and from then on was able to achieve an erection only when he violently killed women and children begging for their lives. He would mostly approach prostitutes, tramps, but abducted little girls whenever he could. Since he lived in the Soviet era, Such crimes tended to be brushed under the carpet because communist governments likes to claim that terrible crimes like rape and murder only happened in immoral capitalistic countries. He was captured in 1990 and went to trial in 1992. During the trial process, he was kept in a cage at the center of the courtroom, ironically for his own protection. The bereaved family members of the victims he had killed were out for his blood and would have lynched him were it not for the cage keeping him safe. A firing squad was dispatched to execute him and he was killed by a single bullet at the back of his head.